you all. We are happy to have you here, and we are very proud. The Department of Germanic Studies of our university is proud to present to you Professor Ruth Morse from Paris University, the Deni Didro.
That's right.
So she will tell you about King Lear, and you are pleased to listen attentively, and you're welcome to ask questions, any questions that you have about Shakespeare, or maybe not only about Shakespeare. You are welcome after the lecture to talk to Professor Morse about any of your interests, scientific interests that you have. Please listen and ask questions.
Somewhere I have a flash drive. Oh, how extraordinary! Here is the flash drive. Someday you may find yourself a teacher, and the file says King Lear. And the slides are in no order whatsoever. And here they are. Because this paper was written for a seminar at the World Shakespeare Congress, which was not so long ago. And it was a seminar called Versions of King Lear. So I remembered that, though it's a long time now that I've taught Shakespeare rather than the Middle Ages, I did begin as a medievalist, and therefore I could be able to tell these only Shakespeareans some things about the origins of ideas about King Lear as a historical figure, which they might well not have come across unless they were reading the notes in their edition. And oddly enough, if you have people in a seminar from all over the world, Japan, India, Korea, Israel, Western European countries, Eastern European countries, South America, the United States, it's extraordinary what the level of pig ignorance can be. Don't tell your mothers that I said that. So what I did was to gather together what is now, oops, that's wrong way up, what's available as slides on the internet. So here it is in paper, and I don't get to take these home, you get to take them home. And you can have a look at these for a little bit of time if I'm being interested, and for a very long interesting, and for a very long time if I'm being boring.
Excuse me, can you help me? I didn't find it.
Well, of course, it may not be there. Open this. Open this. Yes, Lear text and pics. And the PDFs, I have no idea. That's the only thing which is words. Everything else should be pictures.
Просто тогда.
Brilliant. So now probably I don't have to pass around this extremely beautiful postcard-like photograph, which you must go to the optometrist very soon, or I'll come back and haunt you. This is the three sisters. And as you can see, that's their dad. I'll talk about this in a minute. This does not come from a manuscript that has anything to do with King Lear. This is a drawing that some monastic scribe made in the bottom of a page that he was writing. So this too can be added to what you have. So a bit of reading from me. And yes, very good. Another picture of what I'm going to be talking about. And this is a genealogy from our friend Mr. Google. This may be a bad idea. Okay. I like to be as close to my audience as possible because it makes me human rather than an icon of teaching importance. Also, if I'm sitting here, I'm quite short. I'll be taller and you can all see me. And what's more important from my point of view, I can see you. So I'll pass this around in a moment. This is handmade by me with great enthusiasm and some difficulty. You're too thin to sit on the floor, you in the door. Why don't you come and take one of these empty chairs? Or that. Good idea. Okay, but before you make yourself comfortable, will you take this and hand it around, please? Just pass it to someone. Yes. Let us have some secret words about exposure, courage, embarrassment, shame, all those things that will stop you asking me a question. What I usually do, and what I did with 2 of the students in this room yesterday, is I make everybody swear an oath. Are you ready to swear an oath? This is great for me. I'm surrounded by believers, because when I do this in France, I have to say an oath or an affirmation. So, first thing this morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, raise your right hand, please. And repeat after me. Yeah, do it, because if everybody doesn't do it, I'm not doing anything else. All right, we're all right? I, and say your name. I, do solemnly swear. That when I do not understand. I will ask. Okay, fine. So now you're all under oath. And what's going to happen is I'm going to forget that you're not native speakers. I'm just going to talk to you as I would talk to any group that I might be giving a lecture to anywhere in the world. And the country that you have to beat, if you're feeling a little bit nationalist, is India. Because they have the best English of any university student outside an English-speaking country. So there's the mark you have to shoot at. Now, I don't mind if you're taking pictures of me, but if you are taking pictures of me, please would you try to take one in which my mouth is not open. Okay, versions of King Lear. This has a complicated title. Who is it that can tell me who I am? That's what Lear says when late in the play, not so late in the play, he's discovered that he is nothing except a man now, and he took too little care of this. But the point about this lecture is to introduce you to some ideas about rhetorical genealogy, but also about ceasing to think that a word is a thing. So when you say, well, it's a novel, so it will have to be doing this, 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 and this, that's a very bad way of starting any intellectual experience, because you have already spoiled the argument. Let me give you an example that will be a little bit easier to grasp. The bane of intellectual life in France is the binary polarity. So you have something and then you have its opposite. And that's a very easy thing to do. You know, if you're trying to take notes on a telephone, it won't be very helpful.
I'm trying to translate some words.
Ah, but didn't you take an oath?
Yes,
Yes, but did you ask me for help? No. Think of yourself as the person who has sacrificed his calm for all the other students in the room. They are so grateful to you. What did I say that you didn't understand?
Some words.
Was it binary polarity? Well, we'll skip. It was? Okay, that's when you have a pole, and you have one thing at this end of the pole, and its opposite at the other thing of the pole. How many people are in this room are grateful to this young man for having difficulty and being brave enough to say so? Watch, watch, turn around, because hands are going to go up everywhere in the room. Oh, you liars. Don't turn around. Okay, if I say day, what do you immediately reply? If I say white, black. Okay, you must never do this again, because it traps you in a very simple contrast, which is not going to help you think better. So, for example, let's take day and night. What else is there that you might want to include to make day and night more complicated? What comes just before day?
Morning.
Or? Or? Dawn. Or? Anything else? Okay, so now we have 4 words. And we could find some more. And if you had white and black? Gray. Yeah, gray would be good. Is anybody going to say red?
Yes.
Why?
You should remember about rainbow.
Rainbow. Okay, so you could say red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo. But that takes you quite far away from black and white, doesn't it? And what else does it do? Black and white aren't colors.
Oh, yeah.
We talk about the colors of the rainbow, but they don't include black and white. So when you start writing, let us say, a bit of homework, an essay, something like that, if you had to write about, let's say, money in a novel, can you see the difficulties that that can get you into? Now, all of you are here because you're good at passing tests. I passed more tests than you, and that's why I'm standing here and not there. If you start without analyzing the topic of whatever it is that you're supposed to be writing about, you will write rubbish. And if you think that you have achieved something because you can pronounce rhetorical historiography, let me tell you that you are in trouble. Now, I'm going to explain what rhetorical historiography is in a minute. let's start with history. We all know what history is, don't we? This is the universal Pinocchio gesture. It works everywhere I have ever been. I've never been to China, but I'm sure they have it too. But I don't know. So history, that's what? You should start worrying now, because this is going to be just like black and white. History is what? Courage is low now, isn't it? Because you're certain that you might be wrong. Let me tell you something about learning. When you come to a place like this, we ask you to do things that are harder than you've ever done before. In my experience, students don't like that because it involves taking chances, and you might be wrong. Good. Being wrong is the first step to being right. Really? Yes. And then, when you can do what we teach you the first time, we make the next thing harder. It's the only way you're going to progress and learn things. So I want 5 definitions of history, and I want them from the people hiding on the inside of the rows. So you have an empty chair next to you, so you're excused. You know what's coming, you in the back, so you have time to think. Definition of history.
The sequence of events in the past.
The sequence of events in the past. Remember this. Next victim. Pause. A definition of history. Well, let me have the person on the other side, and you can think about it. A definition of history.
Maybe
You're not sitting all the way in the end. But the young lady there is going to offer you her chance. So now you can give our definition of history.
Yes, maybe history is the process of living mankind.
Of living mankind?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a process for what? It's hard, isn't it? Because these are intellectual terms that you don't have at your fingertips. Do you want to think about it for a minute?
Yes.
Okay, see what I'm doing something that's harder than you've done this morning. So, a bonus person. History. You did it at school. What did you think was going on? Of course, you did it in school in your own language, so that's not fair. Well, would the past come into